It's an outlet. I mean, now they have an excuse to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe their wives are like, how come you always have an erection when you're wrestling Ahmed, but never with me in the bed? He's like, babe, it's a sport. You know, there's like high testosterone. It's the adrenaline. I swear it's not you.
Know? It's not you, babe. The blood just gets pumping and I can't help where it goes, you know?
He was squeezing all the blood to my penis.
He only gets erections when he's in the kitchen cooking with olive oil.
He smells the olive oil and he just gets a boner. He always loses on purpose to get his dick twisted. Oh, you totally threw that one, man. No. I really tried my best, man.
Oh no, I'm defenseless on all fours with my butt in the air.
Puts his hands behind his head and closes his eyes. Have at it. You're getting an easy win. Who's the real winner here, though?
I don't know.
You won the wrestling match, but I busted, so looks like I'm the winner. I was unaware that Turkey was like a big homophobic country like that, but to be honest, I mean, if it's a traditional sport, man, I don't know how and when the oil got introduced. That adds a nice element of surprise to it, I guess. But
yes, a modern twist.
But I mean, hey, if it's traditional, I mean, lots of countries got stuff that, you know, I don't understand personally. They keep reposting that same picture of the guy clearly pulling that guy's pants down.
Begging for it.
He really is begging for it.
They clearly have a lot of passion, though. I mean, all these dudes' faces, I mean, they're definitely grunted into it, you know?
Yeah.
Kai, where are you from again?
I was born in Germany.
Oh, damn. Well, I tried.
But I've lived in Turkey.
Hey, there it is. Hey, what's your ranking, man? What's your ELO score looking like on my ELO wrestling, man? How's your ELO looking? Are you platinum at the oil wrestling?
I can't say that I've ever entered the Battle Rift.
Oh man, that's disappointing.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, man, I've seen dudes in prison lock up like that. I've seen I didn't see it, but I actually heard about a dude grabbing a dude by the dong when they were fighting in prison because he was getting his ass whooped and he didn't know what else to do. And the way the story goes, he went right down his pants with it and grabbed him a nice handful and got to twisting. So the twist his dick meme definitely hits a little bit different.
Are there? Okay, so what rules apply in like prison fights? Is it street fighting rules where everything goes? Because I can't see convicts really caring too much.
No, prison rules are do as much damage as you possibly can, basically.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if you're about to rape me in the fucking showers, then yeah, I'm gonna punch you in the balls. Fuck you.
Yeah, people don't care if you fight dirty in prison, basically. It's not looked down upon. Plenty of people do fight like with honor, you know. Hell, I got in a fight with a dude one time and he busted me in my shit and I stumbled over the edge of the bed. We grappled and he got off the ground first and he could have stomped on my neck or kicked me in the side of the head or whatever he wanted to, and he just told me get up, you know. And then 2 days later, he was my cellmate. He actually became a really good friend of mine. But I mean, you know, it's pretty much up to you. I mean, dudes they microwave baby oil for like 20 minutes and then throw it on people's face and melt their face off and shit like that. So,
but you know the worst part about that though, it might damage your MVMT watch if it gets on your wrist, right, Andrew?
That is completely correct. I would not want that anywhere near my movement watch, and let me tell you why.
Yeah.
In a tiny apartment in Southern California, two college dropouts teamed up to create a watch company that broke all the rules. With fair prices, unexpected colors, and clean original designs, Movement grew into one of the fastest growing watch brands, shipping to over 160 countries across the globe. Do you hear that? Do you hear my Superman voice? Do you hear my big comic book narrator voice right now? It's because I'm so excited to announce the superhero known as Movement. All four of us boys wear Movement accessories. They don't just have watches, they also have blue light glasses. They're called Everscroll. And if your eyes are like mine and they get dry and crusty and filled with the goddamn Sahara Desert from even scrolling through Twitter for 2 minutes, you might want to put these Everscroll glasses on your face and then give it a try. Helps with eye strain and poor sleeping patterns, and they look super duper sharp. But if we're talking about Movement, we of course also have to mention that their watches have the look and quality of a $400 to $500 watch, but you're going to pay a fraction of the price because you get them straight from online. Beautiful watch shipped right to your door for free, and if you don't love it, you can also ship it back for free. If you want to elevate your look with style that doesn't break the bank, then join the Movement and get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns. by going to mvmt.com/official. mvmt.com/official. Take the word movement, take out most of the vowels, some of the letters too. Leave yourself with MVMT and go there at mvmt.com/official for 15% off.
Charlie, Andrew, do we have any internet happenings? Any drama? Any funny business?
Nothing too wild that I know of. Unfortunately, it's been a pretty quiet week this week on the internet.
Yeah, nothing interesting I've found.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
look back in topics.
Well, you brought it up earlier. You hate Pokemon Snap, right, Andrew?
Yeah, it's very boring. It is, it's like a $30 game they're selling for $60.
I was thinking about trying it too, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I might still give it a shot, but that is disappointing.
No. So what a lot of people tend to forget is the first game is also very boring. Like back in 1999, it was cool, but it's a very, very slow on-rails shooter. And that's the whole game
by today's
with like
standards.
6 levels. So they re-released that same exact thing in 2021. It's a very, very slow, barely interactive on-rails shooter with forced, very slow tutorials. Like it is not a fun
I feel like that's
game.
what people wanted from Snap, though. That's why people liked it in the first place.
I think people only like it because they have nostalgia for the first game. I think anyone playing it just straight up is going to immediately be bored if they're like not a kid.
And what's the point of having Snap in this day and age if you can't go to like Blockbuster and print out your Snap
Well,
photos?
it's just amazing how it's not improved after all this time. Like, why not make an open world game where you have a camera and you can pick the angle of a photo you take, or you can set up shots, or you can like add more Pokemon
That's
to
just
a scene.
a camera mode in any other game. Like any other
Exactly.
modern game comes with a camera mode these days anyway.
And yet this game is
I'm not gonna
based
lie,
around...
that sounds fucking sick.
This game
the way you
is-
just described it.
What?
That sounds sick. Like one where you could
Yeah.
like set up tripods and try to bait them out and stuff like that, and like get sick Pokemon. Like, yeah, that'd be sick.
And
You can do
that's
that
the
with
whole
Bigfoot.
that's the whole point. There are games where this whole game's entire feature is like a side mechanic, but this is the only thing to do in the game. And also, I looked it up. The game's only about 6 hours long. So
oh fuck!
for $60, it's
That's
a
probably for
really
the better though.
boring
If
game.
it's if the only mechanic is just a slow on rails shooter taking pictures of Pokemon, 6 hours is probably about as much as I could handle. Of
Exactly.
that sounds incredibly.
I
boring.
played the first
what
2
would be
hours
funny?
and literally gave up. I was so goddamn bored of it.
Damn,
It's
man.
not
Imagine if
good.
you
That's
had like a
disappointing.
Pokemon TikTok Snap game where you take out your phone, you go on a plane, and you have to catch Charizard without his mask, and then you dox him and shit. And that's how you like capture him.
The 2021
He's
edition.
a big Twitter star, but you keep replying to every one of his posts with that photo. Like, what do you have to say about this, huh? What do you have to say about
What about
this?
that time you didn't wear a mask?
This you better, and the more you do that, the more damage it does.
That's great.
He's weak enough to be captured
Oh,
now.
fuck. But yeah, it's
Part of the appeal when I was a kid was just seeing 3-dimensional Pokemon, you know? I loved it. They captured it in the natural habitat, but I was also a little kid when that shit came out. And I remember rumors, you know, like, oh, there's Bulbasaur on this one level, and it was like super magical to me, but now I'm fucking 28 and I'm just not sure it's going to hit the same, you know?
It's entirely
not.
carried by
Spoiler.
nostalgia. And
It's not.
the other fun related thing is I've been streaming modded Pokemon games lately, like fan games, and they are just so much fucking better than what Nintendo's actually making.
Oh yeah,
They're just so good.
Yeah.
There's so many actually good modded Pokemon games out there, and they add like new mechanics and they add stuff in that's really interesting, and they change up the difficulty so it's more dynamic and not like a fucking handhold fest. It's just there's so much potential to a franchise where the whole base is like, oh, you discover new creatures and fight them. Like there's so much you can do, but everything Nintendo pumps out is such a basic, barely executed idea. It's
That's
frustrating.
Nintendo in a nutshell.
Yeah.
In 2021, I feel like Nintendo is not known for being in touch with their fan base.
It's disappointing.
They finally added multiplayer to Mario Party like a week ago. Finally, after like 3 years of releasing the fucking game, which I appreciate. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it's been 3
Fucking
years. I think.
embarrassing. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing. It took them 3 years to add something that should have been there on launch.
It could not. They're not a tiny indie team or something. I mean, this is Nintendo we're talking about. You could have done this within a week when we all knew that we had to lock down like last year. You could have made gangbusters on the fucking pandemic. Instead, you do it now when the pandemic is basically fucking over and people are going back to regular life. Like, their business sense is it sucks so
Garbage.
much ass. I don't know if there's like some 70-year-old Japanese grandpa calling the shots who doesn't even know what the internet is.
It has to be, man.
Yeah, I don't. I
It's,
just don't know.
even without COVID, it just doesn't make sense for a party game like that not to have online capabilities.
Even their
it's fucking stupid.
even their online distribution is years behind. So I bought Pokemon Snap and only put a couple hours on it, and I wanted to return it. And apparently, you cannot return any digital orders. They do not offer refunds on digital orders. The only time they do that is if the game like doesn't work or something goes wrong with the store. But if you regret a purchase or don't like a game or are not satisfied, they will not refund it. Meanwhile, Steam has had like a policy where it's like if you have less than 5 hours or something, you can return the game, no questions asked.
2 hours.
Yeah. And they've had that for years.
I feel like they also had to get sued into doing that.
I
Did
did
they
have,
really?
Fair point, but
I feel like Nintendo.
You know what,
I
you
mean,
think these companies actually want those policies in
no,
place?
but it's kind of
They don't want that.
shocking they have no refund policy when most companies have at least something. Steam and Epic Games and
Right.
all of them have at least something.
Yeah.
That's Andrew. That's actually only a pretty modern or a pretty recent change to these storefronts. Like Xbox, PlayStation, those are still very recent changes. They used to not allow refunds either.
True.
Xbox's refund policy, I know this for a fact, is you got one freebie basically. You got one chance to refund one game, and after that, they wouldn't consider any other refunds for you. So you had to choose your refund wisely,
gets one.
basically.
True.
I feel like Nintendo really had their finger on the pulse of gaming in like the late 80s through the 90s, and they've just kept that big-headed attitude ever since, basically, you know? I mean, what are the console wars about now? It's just Xbox and PlayStation. Nintendo's not a contender in that, you know? It's almost like the Switch is like almost like a niche platform,
Yeah, you
sort
say
of, you
that,
know?
and yet it's the fastest selling console every month for the last 2 years.
Is it really?
Yes,
still-
the Switch
yeah,
is
it still
amazingly
sits
successful.
They sell.
I didn't know
so
that.
much.
Yeah.
I know. I
still
only know
use it
2
the
people
most.
that have
It's-
one, so
Their games
that's
are
not
fun.
obviously.
I don't know.
Obviously, me only knowing 2 people with it is not exactly a big enough sample
Yeah.
size of the people that I know, you know, but I still was like, I played Breath of the Wild and I thought it was fucking incredible, but I haven't played any other Switch games since then, you know, and my wife played
They're
Animal Crossing for a while.
They're definitely a company that coaxes off their keystone IPs.
And
Right, yeah,
and
yeah.
the problem
Yeah.
is that when they want to give a shit, they can do great things with those IPs. I mean, Mario Odyssey is very arguably the best 3D Mario game. It's very, very good and very inventive, but some of their IPs, they just don't give a fuck. Star Fox was fucking shit onto the ground. F-Zero hasn't had a new game in like 20 years.
Metroid
Yeah,
Prime.
God knows what's happening with Metroid and Metroid Prime. Like they have really big winners. Breath of the Wild was great. Mario Odyssey was great, but like Pokemon, while it's still
Splatoon.
going, is a fucking mess. Like there's some things they clearly care about and some they don't, and it sucks. Smash Brothers
They
is
are
great.
extremely
but-
successful. They have the means to do great things with these IPs because they make so much money, like a ridiculous amount of money from their hardware sales as well as their storefront and IP sales.
Right.
The DS, the 2DS, 3DS, the Game Boy, those are all like best-selling consoles in their own right. The Wii was the most best-selling console of all time.
Also, I should clarify.
they've got back-
the actual developer of these games, Pokemon, is Game Freak, which we've also
the
talked
worst
about.
developer of all
Yeah,
time.
they have literally never made a good
about that.
video game, but Nintendo also is a big ass owner of Game Freak and owns Pokemon as a franchise, I believe is how the deal works out. So they can step in at any time and take over development or assist with it, but they don't. They just don't.
So I think it's the Pokemon company that owns Pokemon, but like Nintendo as well as Game Freak are like shareholders of the Pokemon company.
it's some weird relationship deal they have with it. I don't remember what it is.
I think
Nostalgia is very powerful. Coming from an old school RuneScape player, I mean, I can say that looking through the lens of nostalgia is going to distort you every time.
Yeah.
Stadia is
the
the
new
future.
Pokemon's
Oh, Stadium's another one that's
forgot about
awful that
Stadium.
people
No,
remember.
Stadia.
Oh, sorry.
Stadia. Google Stadia.
Oh, Stadia.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Wait, what
I
is it?
thought you were talking about
Thousand
Pokemon
World.
Stadium, which is another one people loved, but it's also a very boring game.
Yeah, I loved it when I was a kid. I don't think I'd sit through it nowadays.
Stadium is
I mean,
amazing.
it's the same repetitive shit.
Stadium is incredible. People love it and have nostalgia for it, but all it is a Pokemon game with no story, and the battles are stretched to take 4 times as long. Like, fuck that.
Yep.
It's not great.
It was a cool setting, though.
It's a neat idea. It's just such a slow game.
The best part about Pokemon Stadium, in my opinion, was the Doduo and Dodrio Tower, where you could put in your Game Boy game and play it at triple speed.
Yeah,
because you could grind out levels like crazy on that bitch.
I'm doing those modded games, and let me tell you, without the fucking emulator speed up function, it'd be a hassle. But just being able to speed through grinding
Emulators
is so
are a
nice.
godsend.
Yeah,
Those
pretty much in
guys-
every possible way.
They're angels. I mean, just a function of, take this ancient, difficult fucking game that was merciless with save spots, and you can save at any point, and reverse and rewind and forward. I love those motherfuckers. Thank you for that. You're a blessing.
I do admit that's one of the things that I appreciated about Breath of the Wild, because I had a lot of trouble getting a hold of the combat, but you could just kind of screenshot save wherever pretty much, and just if you died or whatever, just reload back to it. It was really nice, like emulator style function right in the game.
By the way, next month is the 4-year anniversary of them announcing Metroid Prime 4 and us never ever hearing anything about it again.
Oh my god.
The way they just talked about it, I'm pretty sure. They basically, well, it might have actually been last
they
year. I'm
talked
pretty
about
sure
it
they said
2
they
years
started
ago.
development again.